lot of situational football today, finishing with get the ball back in 2 minutes and had a second 10 third down script. I liked the defense seemed to win most of the situations. We were on a discretionary week, a spring break week, and came back and practiced on Thursday. So we were basically off from the practice field for 8 days, and I felt like it showed on our offense with the accuracy of throws and hanging on the ball, jumping off sides. And we didn't play very smart football today on the offensive side of the ball, but some of that's I expected it. We certainly aren't sitting here going, we're happy that it happened, but there are some reasons behind some of the situations that happened today.
Tom, you want to get us going?
That'd be great. Yeah, it's funny that that's what I was going to ask you about, Sam, that you come back and you win in shorts on Thursday, and maybe you expected a little. Did you want them to have to kind of fight through some adversity or something like that today?
No, I mean, we went shells on Thursday. We have thought about this for a long time about having a scrimmage. I did not want to scrimmage the week before the spring game with the way that our spring break is set up at school. Obviously the kids had no class yesterday, but we asked them to stay here. And then after the day's practice, they could, head home for Easter. But what happened today, I was certainly hoping wouldn't happen with a little bit of sluggish play. But I'm glad we got it in. I think we were pretty injury free, and we have 6 more practice, 6 more opportunities this spring.
Okay. And then what will this week look like? And then Saturday, just not a scrimmage, just a regular?
Saturday just be a regular practice for us. I don't know exactly. I'm trying to make up my mind whether I want to, we'll go regular next week. We won't tackle live next Saturday. It'll be a shells practice. And then I don't know for sure whether I'm going to go Thursday, just helmets only, or Tuesday, just helmets only, and the other one shells. I'm not positive what I'm going to do there yet. I think it's just going to get the pulse of the team. The other thing too, Tom, is, we had 40-something kids take the vaccine this week as well. So, it certainly could have done something with their energy. I don't know that. I'm not trying to make excuses, but believe me, I'm understanding about some of the sloppy play that there might be a reason behind it. Not tolerated, but might be a reason behind it.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, several of your top DBs made some pretty good plays today. Busted had a PBU, Catalan had a PBU. I think Blair had one and a pick. What did you just think of some of the activity of the guys in your secondary?
They've been playing well in practice as well. Anytime you can take what you do in individual and you can do it as well or better in a team setting, then to me, that's when you become a good player. A lot of guys look good over an individual and this, that, and the other, blocking bags, breaking on air, all these type things. But what those guys have done, they're able to take what they're doing in individual each day, and you guys see them out there, Trey. I'm looking at you. You see them do that every single day, and they're starting to do that in a game setting, in a team setting. And anytime you can do that, you've turned yourself into a fine football player, and the secondary is doing that right now.
Blair was a guy that you kind of spoke highly of, before the spring. What kind of growth have you seen in him, just since you've been here?
A lot of confidence. I mean, he's got a lot of confidence. He's a guy that, he's always been a guy that will hit you. If you look back in last season, really came firing out of the gates early last season. Had really a great game against Mississippi State and played well early, and then kind of tapered off a little bit during the middle, and then came back a little bit towards the end. And we just talked to him about, hey, I want that guy and a better guy. When we played LSU, I believe it was, in the second half when we lost Catalan. We lost a lot of leadership in the secondary, and we needed Blair to step up and be one of those guys, and he certainly has. So I've been really pleased with him. He's a really physical guy. I love the kid.
Otis.
Yeah, Sam. You had on the going back to kind of what you talked about at first about the mistakes, but you had a 75-yard touchdown call back because of an ineligible receiver downfield. And then it wasn't a touchdown, but you had another ineligible receiver later. What was happening on that? And also, can you comment on Lucas Cole? It seemed like he improved quite a bit from the last scrimmage.
Yeah, I think he did, Otis. I think he improved from last week. He's getting a little bit more confident. Overall, the accuracy of our quarterbacks isn't very good at all right now, and we certainly have to be able to throw and catch it. But I thought he got better. The O lineman downfield. A lot of our plays are for the line or runs. It seemed like we were holding. Usually, you'll see a mesh, a read, a throw, and therefore your linemen don't really get downfield past the 3-yard mark. Today it was a read, a mesh, a wait, a throw. And basically that's going to happen with inexperienced quarterbacks. It's going to take them a little bit longer than what maybe Felipe would have had on his reads and getting the ball out of his hands. There's really nothing you can do as a lineman. You don't know whether he hand the ball off or not in our offense. So some of those were very unfortunate.
Trey.
Coach, curious about the defensive end play. Dorian Gerald got to the quarterback a good bit today, and Jashad Stewart these last couple of practices has been working with the first group.
I'm proud of Jashad. What he teaches, Trey, is like in any business, anything. If you work hard and you come to work every day with that lunch pail attitude, and that's what he had in high school too, that you can move up in your business, you can move up on the football field, whatever it may be. We still like to see him get another 10 pounds. I think he will, but he plays extremely hard, and we want to reward that as well. You saw Dorian make some plays today, and the reason to me is because he's playing harder. He's not taking as many plays off as he had in the past. And I think Eric Thomas is also a guy that's coming on there, and you saw Gregory make some plays and Soley made some plays. So we have, that's certainly, I called it out last week. I think we've got to get better at that position, all positions, but that's one that's concerning, and they're trying to shut the old coach up a little bit, I think.
And then on the other side of the ball, Luke Jones looks like the last couple of practices he's been starting with the first group, and you've got a lot of guards that have some experience in there. Just your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I'm glad to see Luke's getting an opportunity with the ones. There's an ongoing battle there with Latham and him, and it's a good battle. We'll end up having two really good players playing there, but. I thought we protected a lot better today than what we had last week, and seemed like we was holding a little bit more today than what we did last week too. That has something to do with not getting the quarterback, but it was a lengthy, it was a 2 hours and 15-minute scrimmage or what have you, and I felt like the kids played hard. I didn't like the transition on and off the field. We did a lot of special teams. And we had some injuries, and when you have your depth chart and then you're going 1s, 2s, and 3s on special teams, and you lose 2 or 3 guys, it makes it very, very difficult to stay up with the depth chart changes. But I thought they did a good job of doing that as well.
Dudley.
TJ Hammond's had a big run. Can you just talk about the running backs as a group, how they've practiced and how they look today?
Yeah, I think TJ had a nice run. I wish we'd be more physical. At times we are. I wish we'd be more consistent downhill physical. And but TJ made a nice shot, did well on that, broke out, had a long run on that. Dominique Johnson had a nice little touchdown run down there in the red area. But we're not consistent. Obviously with Malik and the running backs, our mesh isn't we put 2, maybe 3 balls on the ground just in a mesh. Nobody hit anybody. We beat ourselves. You know, if we're going to lose, somebody better beat us. You know, we better not beat ourselves. So those things have to be corrected. But I just wish that we were consistently physical at the running back position. And I thought we were before the break. So we've got to get that fixed.
Bob.
Hey, Sam, how you doing? Hey, I wanted to ask you, Mike Gundy said something recently after practice that he'd be interested in scrimmaging teams in the future. He mentioned Arkansas, you know, I think in A&M and maybe Nebraska. Is that something you'd be interested in doing in the future? Just what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think if you were a veteran coach, in other words, I'd be way more interested in doing it this year than I would have last year if there was no COVID. I'm saying, you know, when you're coming in your first year, you're trying to get your team. You might different people do spring ball differently, you know. So I don't know that I'd be for that in the first year, but after that, you know, I think it could be beneficial. I think, you know, I don't want to take away from any of the other sports as well either, but it could be beneficial to scrimmage somebody that would be five or more years down the road that you wouldn't play them for at least, you know, five or more years. But I think someone asked Coach about that. I thought he gave a great answer on that. For me, I don't know that I'd want to my first year in the program, but after that, I think that'd be very interesting.
Nate.
Just as far as the quarterbacks hanging on to the ball too long, is that more of their inexperience, or are you feeling guys aren't getting open or anything you can kind of put your finger on?
I don't know, Nate, without watching the tape, but just sitting out there behind the quarterbacks today, you know, I don't know if our defense was doing a nice job of stopping the short routes, you know, or if our quarterbacks are looking for the deep ball, you know, are they going through the progressions correctly? Obviously, something is wrong. You know, it's either we're not getting open, we're not reading the first progression and hitting him when he's open. Maybe we're trying to go deep with the ball. I don't know the answer to that till I watch the tape, but obviously our timing's off.
Also, you mentioned Sanders running the ball last time. How did he do today as far as the scrimmage went?
I think he's getting a lot better as a running back. He's still, you know, he's still learning, and I'm talking about learning the offense. You'll see him out there at times where he's on the wrong side, or he might go the wrong way some. That's understandable for a freshman. But I love everything about the kid and his work ethic, and he's going to be a really fine player for us.
Thanks.
All right. Let me know if you've got more questions in the chat. Tom.
Sam, in the 2-minute drill, this play was away from us, but it looked like you got on the curve. We didn't see what happened, and it seemed like there was something last scrimmage too that was like that.
No, it wasn't Blake. We had a guy get a 15-yard personal foul penalty, and so I just wanted to visit with him about it.
All right, we missed that one. And then, do you know your format for the red-white game yet? Like ones, or have you thought that through yet? And what the rosters will look like?
No, if you know, we've talked about as a staff. Probably the first thing off of our conversation is, you know, I probably put the 1D and the 2O together, and the 2D and the 1O together, and then piece the rest of the guys in on the teams that way. And we probably, if we did that, we would probably do that the Thursday before the spring game, kind of have that practice format that way as well.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, just overall thoughts on your kicking game today.
I don't think we did very good kicking field goals. You know, I've got to look and see. We hit some good punts, hit some bad punts. You got to understand we're punting not one guy or kicking one guy. We're kicking a lot. I thought we kicked the ball off. Our kickoffs were outstanding. We had one punt that we didn't field that is unacceptable. But other than that, I thought we caught the ball running forward on the returners, the punters. I don't know that we ever really just hit one where you're going, ooh, but I don't know that we really did, hit a shank or anything of that nature too. So there's a big battle going in there, Scotty, about all that stuff, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I don't know that we punted great. I don't know that we punted bad. I know that we didn't do an outstanding job on the field goal and making our field goals. I do know, even though Phillips kicked one heck of, it was the 46 yards into the wind there on the last 2 minute or the second to last 2 minute drive. And I was trying to get 5 yards. I had 13 seconds with no timeouts. And I was trying to get 5 more for him because there was a pretty good wind, and we didn't get any. And he came in and he bombed it. So it was really nice to see.
Trey?
Coach, I was curious about the amount of work that you guys have done on special teams. Is that different this year? I just from my experience, it seems like you work on punt team in the spring and then move on. Is it just because you have so many players back and a bunch of freshmen enrolled and all your kickers are here, or what? What's the reasoning?
Well, we weren't very good on it, Trey. And so that's the reason that we're working on it like crazy, because we don't want it. We want it to be a positive and not a negative. So we're trying to find our top 11, and that's why you're seeing so many reps on so many things, because we're making emphasis that we weren't very good on special teams last year and we need to become good. So that's the reason.
But I'm right on just assuming normally you probably wouldn't do that much special teams, like in a normal.
Maybe not this scrimmage. We might have the first one, but
I mean, just like throughout the course of the spring, like normally, it seems like
Oh,
don't put that big of an emphasis.
no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you were an established program, maybe we're just not there yet. I'll probably do the same thing next year, to be honest with you, Trey.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, last question, JB.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, Coach. So KJ Jefferson, big shoes obviously to fill with Felipe gone. What do you think about KJ? Just not even in terms of just his playing today, but body language, communication. How do you think KJ looked overall?
I think he's doing a better job with all that, with communication. We just got to play catch, and we're not doing it right now. And they can, because I see them every day at practice, and they can. It's just that's why you got to get under the lights a little bit more and put a little bit more pressure on them and see, help them rise to the top. But our accuracy is just not there right now, and that all I know how to do is just practice it. And we've got good quarterback coach. We've got good quarterbacks, but it seems to me like our touch and our accuracy is off right now. We've got to get better. And the great thing is we have really good kids that work hard, so I'm not concerned about it. I thought we'd be maybe a little bit further ahead than what we are right now.